I gotta start over. I actually wasn't recording myself.
Oh no. Okay.
It's okay. You know what? Well, now you gotta say something stupid.
Oh my gosh, like I have the biggest crush on Biscuit and I hope you're not recording this at
All right,
all.
and we're live. Hello, and welcome to Oily Trash Movies, the only podcast where two people say unfunny things the entire time.
Hello.
We're your host. I'm Daddy WarBux.
And I'm Bublegum Barbie.
And today we're here to watch a very oily trash movie. Man, my last intro was so much better. I'm so upset with myself now.
I know. It was.
Apologies. We're having some technical issues.
Oh, because today is a late hour recording. Usually we do it in the morning, or we have been in the last couple episodes. Today I am having alcoholic beverage. So, yeah, and War is too, maybe.
Actually, if my voice sounds strange, it's because I'm not drunk tonight. So that may come across a bit disconcerting to our listeners.
That's probably why your intro was kind of wah-wah.
Okay, yeah, all right. Just crush my feelings, man. This is a really late recording.
We need our naps.
It's been about 6 months.
This is why naps are
since
important.
Our last episode.
And why we recommend them.
What did we watch last week?
Oh gosh.
Glorious.
What did
our
we watch?
favorite movie.
Glorious. It was really good. I really did like that movie. And as I was editing, I liked it a little more. And we did keep talking about it next
We're still
couple
talking
days.
about it.
It was really, really good. I liked it. I recommend it. It's kind of, I mean, I would consider it controversial if you're type of religious person, like very, very deep into that.
Grandma's not gonna like this movie.
I wouldn't recommend showing it to grandma, but you guys, like, just wanting to watch something and having like the thing that I did enjoy most about this movie was it was just two people having a deep conversation, which is what majority of humans do anyway when it's very intimate, and I did like it. I think it was a great movie because the set design was amazing, the crew was amazing, the wardrobe was amazing, the casting was superb. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I agree with all that wholeheartedly. If you want to see our full opinions, check out last week's episode. It was our least watched episode ever.
It really? I haven't checked.
People do not care about that movie. But this week, in honor of the live-action Little Mermaid reboot, re-release by Disney, remake, we're watching Mermaid Down. I don't know anything about this movie, actually.
Okay, so what I've learned, they ended up making profit. It is an indie film. For them to make it was $85,000, and it ended up making 116,466.
Okay, everybody, you heard it here. We're bringing you the cold hard facts.
So it ended up making pretty well. And the writers were co-writers. It was Kelly and Jeffrey. And then all the cast are people who have been in other films that I don't care about and you wouldn't care about. Except there was an extra, I believe, who played Natasha, is her character. She was in Sharknado 4. The Fourth Awakens. And that is it.
Can you read us the synopsis of this film?
Okay. A mermaid is ripped from the Pacific. Her tail is chopped off and she's thrown into the mental home where no one believes she is a mermaid. So she is a psycho mermaid.
Okay, yeah, that sounds like my kind of mermaid.
Yeah, I'm excited.
This looks like a sexy movie.
It is exactly War's type of movie and my type of movie.
Oily trash.
So I'm excited.
All right, here we go. I almost fucked up the subtitles this whole episode. I hate the sound mixing on this already.
Yeah.
This might just be a really poorly mastered rip.
It is an
that we're
indie
watching.
film. Yeah, it is an indie film. So Let's
Why the
see.
mermaid has hair could be perhaps
I am
indeed for
not
the same
too.
reason why Walrus
I
has a
like the
mustache.
set.
Why
It
does
feels
Walrus
real.
have a
It feels
mustache?
like.
I don't know the answer.
This deep
Sure,
philosophical
the jury
question,
on
though,
which
as
trial
to
they
the
did
nature
really
of mermaids,
Oh,
seems pretty
have
interesting.
mustaches? You think they really have
I'm a
that
person who believes in
coconut
mermaids.
bras, or you know those seashell bras?
I think their tits are out.
I hope their tits are out.
Hell yeah. I sure hope so, Mr. Movie.
Maybe they really do exist.
Maybe they do.
It's really great that they happen to be discussing the plans for capturing and cutting off the tail of a mermaid right before that's actually going to happen.
It got like to the point right away. Like they didn't. They made it very interesting quickly. This guy.
Man, he cares about skincare. Oh my goodness, it's a mermaid. So I take down my sunglasses and my binoculars, ensuring I can't see anything. Oh, you better get that fire axe.
This movie, like, got actiony
This
right
is pretty
away.
high.
Yeah.
Yeah. It looked like they were actually on these boats.
I think
like,
they
in the
are.
sea.
Yeah.
Hey, help me!
Oh, get axed.
Long tail, too. Ah! A sound effect for the mermaid to sound. Oh no, he's gonna lose his hand.
What are you doing, old man?
It's not fast enough.
I didn't tie her off yet! Stop shooting! Stop shooting!
Oh no, is he gonna get shot?
Yeah.
Oh!
Where's his friend? Should be like on the other end, just like hanging out.
Who knows? He's gone forever. He really couldn't, like, I mean, that was a shotgun at long range. That really wouldn't have even killed him. Just would have peppered him up a bit.
Peppered him up.
Did he chop it off?
Yeah.
Is he done?
Yeah, the axe had blood. Chunks.
Ooh. Viscera. And there's a blue fin. Or, scales.
He just went to go
No,
get...
he's not done.
He went to get a coffee break.
Oh, man. Cool. Now you're just a person. Man, he's gonna murder for this?
Oh.
This guy's also evil. He's gonna kill him with the axe.
Oh my gosh.
He just got The Shining. Well, this guy's like a maniacal serial killer now.
Yeah.
Dude, at least act like you just saved her.
No, he's
know?
not. Saw the money signs too.
Yeah, but like befriend her. Be like, hey, wow, I can't believe this guy cut your tail off. I'll be your friend though. I killed him.
Which door is
This is
it?
like Sucker Punch.
That does feel like a movie that has some parallels to this one. Combining women's mental institutions with fantasy. That would be interesting if the imaginary friend is actually like some sort of ghost. Like a real life ghost.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, it seems completely unrealistic that they would have all of these wrought iron fireplace tools with like hooks and pincers and shovels in this house full of crazy women.
I know, right? Like, that's not a good idea.
It is the new girl. And all of you acting like this is not going to make her...
You almost murdered her.
Oh, come on. Back in blue. Come on.
Do you think she's still like she doesn't have feet? Or do you think she has legs?
I'm curious as how they're gonna do that.
I know, same. I think she's gonna have no legs.
Cocoon growing. Her legs.
She has
She's gonna have human
legs.
legs. Ugh, gross.
Did you see her nip?
Yeah. Now, why haven't we seen the mermaid character yet? Is she not gonna be the main character of this movie?
No, they just are waiting. They want to incorporate this ghost lady. She is a ghost. Look at her wounds.
Who's this person with scars all over her
That's
face?
the
Is
ghost.
that another ghost?
No, that's the same ghost.
Okay. These crazy women who can't walk are allowed to just roll into a swimming pool with no adult supervision in the middle of the night. Alright, that was the mermaid, and then that's the ghost. And the ghost is like, the mermaid can see me. Oh my god, it's because I'm a real ghost and I'm a fantasy creature.
So I wonder now, if you cut her legs off and throw her in the ocean, would she cocoon into a mermaid again?
It seems strange that she wouldn't just cocoon back into her natural form. Yeah, so I have here a perfectly normal woman, but I swear she's a mermaid. I'll give it to her for $1 million.
Oh, they're best friends.
The crazy bitches who are literally in a psych ward are dunking on her for not dealing with reality.
This is down. This is the Mermaid Down.
Mermaid Down.
Does it look like I have a PhD?
See, this tells you a lot about society. The scientific study experiment that happened in like the 80s, where they found that people are more likely to be obedient if a person of authority tells them.
Stanford, the Stanford
No,
prison experiment?
not that one. It's the shock one, where they had actors.
Oh, all
yeah.
right.
So they
Pretend to be shocked.
Yes.
And, yeah, and if they had somebody in authority
Yes.
encouraging them to keep shocking,
Yes.
they would do
They
higher
would,
shocks.
Yes, and they would do it to a point where they would kill them. So these two guys allowed this mermaid to be tortured simply because this guy has authority, no way of having a PhD.
Yeah. All right. I was gonna say you're reading too much into it. But when he appealed to the authority of the PhD, I think you're right.
I told you not to give away our secret tadpole.
He calls her tadpole. How adorable.
No, not adorable at all. Hell yeah, ghost girl. Ghost girl power.
Now, you know what? This sort of motley crew of crazy chicks are kind of growing on me. What the hell?
Ew, dead body.
Dude, this movie is fucking metal.
Ew.
Why does it keep showing the foot? I didn't realize this was directed by Quentin Tarantino. What? Where the hell is this psych ward?
Bend over, I'll pull it out.
What? Her tail's back?
God. Why did he hit the bumper?
He was because he was more concerned about the damage to his car than the human being / mermaid mythical $1 million creature that he just ran down. This guy's like the Terminator or some shit.
I know, right?
Oh my god, he happened to be sitting here in his office.
Gonna shoot her.
Oh, jeez. He's just like stalking this house, murdering. How are you gonna cover this up, dude? Like 7 bodies, including multiple employees? Wait, it's a Tommy gun?
Why are they not getting in the car and driving the car out?
Oh man, no, he's got bloody snakeskin boots. Remember when he just had a bunch of sunscreen lotion smeared all over his face and was wearing goofy sunglasses? Well, this was pretty cool, where she sprayed ink.
Yeah,
This movie's bizarre.
it's so bizarre.
But I may have been too hard on it at first. I think the writing's solid. I don't know. Something about this movie doesn't fit. I think tonally, this movie is a mess. I mean, like, how bizarrely serious and over the top the villain is. And how goofy some of the other shit is.
Yeah, true.
Whoa!
Oh, she like wrapped his tail around and freaking snapped his neck.
How fucking far did they drift from the city?
From the dock. 2 miles. They're in California, so.
Alright. A lot of things don't make sense.
Yeah.
And I feel like I need to start.
Oh
Wait,
my
he's still
God.
alive? He had all of the bones in his body crushed. Oh man, what if he's also like a mermaid?
Oh my. Ooh. He's gonna eat him now.
Alright, I guess he gets killed a third time. Alright, so you know what would have made this make more sense? I better mute this so we don't get copyright strike. Alright, so the women were constantly trying to escape, or wanted to escape, I guess. It would have made more sense if they were actually depicted as being abused and experimented on by the sadistic psychiatrist, because he's so bizarrely sadistic and for no reason, but we don't really, like, all he ever really does is watch the girls on his monitors. If he actively has these women captured and they're actively trying to escape, that would make sense. Then it's like, okay, this is an evil person doing evil things, and then you would expect him, when he turns and makes an extremely over-the-top cartoonish thing, it would sort of fit. And then when you have all of these women escaping at the end, it would actually mean something, because really, they seem to be having a damn good time in their home. I don't know why they're trying to escape if they just hang around playing board games and watching old movies. So that's how I would try to restructure it. I would have this be like a 50s asylum where all of these women are constantly getting like shock treatments and doused in ice cold water. And then they would want to escape. And then when they escape at the end, you would feel good. And like you said, let's see more of what this doctor was doing. Cut the whole part where he gets... Cut that whole first scene that we actually loved. Like, okay, there's just a fishing trawler that happens to pick up a mermaid. They cut it in half because they don't know what to do. And he sees it, and he sees that she's still alive, and then takes her to this hospital. I don't know. That's how I would try to tighten it up. Let's see more of like this being an evil asylum.
I mean, I like the concept. I like the idea. It was just, I agree. There was just so many questions. I left with more questions than answers. It would have liked to maybe. I see what it's trying to do. It's trying to be like Glorious, where it was trying to do that shock factor. With the beginning, obviously, which is why it started with the psychiatrist when he was like putting sunblock. It makes sense now why he didn't do anything and he was just watching from afar.
So then he was specifically following these guys, knowing that they would find a mermaid. Because he wanted a mermaid for his asylum,
I don't think so. I think he was more of an opportunist. I think he was just like in the yacht enjoying his time and then he just stumbled upon this situation, right? Or maybe yeah, he was or he's like heard the stories of because the two men were talking about there has been so many sightings and mermaids being here for millennia, right? So there was that and maybe he was. But I think he was mostly an opportunist. I don't think he necessarily planned it. He just took it, right?
So I think the writing and the design of all of these characters is pretty good. I still had a hard time. I think that if you can cut out some of the stuff where those two fishermen died at the beginning anyway, and you focus more on this cast of the asylum girls, they could have stood out better as individual characters, and then we wouldn't be at the end and not knowing who died, not knowing who was alive.
I disagree with you a little bit. I would keep the beginning. I did like the beginning because it grabbed my interest right away. I love that. Like they just got to the point. It was great. I loved all that dialogue. I liked the concept of it. All the beginning was great. I would have condensed the cast in the psych ward. I think it was too many women. You try to make it look very busy. I would have kept the number of employees a little more. I would have condensed females and essentially within those 20 minutes of the movie is just talking about the five main characters or six characters and essentially using that individuality in all these women. One dies, one gets blah blah blah, and then all these other ones. Maybe yeah, maybe just have more of an involvement of the audience investing in these psych ward women for a good while, and then the last 20 minutes it's just so hard though because you really want to keep it as short as possible, and if you do that then it really lengthens the movie. I think personally the movie was too long.
I mean, it's an hour and a half. It is pretty tight as far as movie runtimes go.
Yeah, it was too
I'm not
long
sure.
though. Like I would have cut the ocean view when she was going into the ocean. I think it slowed down in that area, and I think that's why we were like, sorry. That's why we were like, oh my gosh, this is so boring. I think they just longed it too much.
They it was extra long.
It was extra long. It was like, okay, dude, like just go into the ocean, right? Um, I would have liked because we saw a lot of the ghost woman. We got to know more of the ghost girl, the writers, and who is also the director. Was focused too much on the ghost girl. And I felt that she really didn't contribute too much about it. Did like that there was a story, but I would have used all that focus that they were using on the ghost girl to put that time on all the other women as much as they can, like them doing character traits of like how they survive on the daily in the psych ward. I would have liked that a little more. I know it's a small budget and I'm asking a lot, but maybe change the location of the psych ward. It just looked like a house and they try to make it.
It was definitely a house.
Yeah, and they try to make it look like it was
Even the
halfway
exterior
house.
shot was of a house with like a garage.
Right.
There was a big garage door. Like,
Exactly.
a lot of times you'll have movies like this where they'll do an exterior shot of like a big industrial building, and then all of the interior shots are obviously somebody's house.
Yeah, and I would have, okay, so this is going to sound crazy. I would have liked for them to choose the setting of the psych ward that, what was that? It's not freeze, it is cryo. If they use the setting of cryo, location of
Yeah, we're
cryo,
just a
where
warehouse.
it's just a warehouse, I would believe that more, and it would feel more eerie as well. And the fact that the psychiatrist who owns the psych ward is a murderer, psychopath as well, would have made it more interesting.
See, I feel like this movie tried to be two things. We have this action horror first act, and these were some actually pretty well choreographed action scenes, I think. They were shot and filmed well, and it does appear like they're on a boat. I feel like they had access to these boats for half of the production and not the end. And you know what? These are great scenes. I like this, and I like the horror action aspect of it. And then then it tries to say, well, no, we're a story about a bunch of women escaping, and we're gonna all embrace each other emotionally at the end. That's what I mean by tonally this movie just didn't fit. How do you have this crazy action scene where people are getting murdered with axes, and then you try to have the emotional bizarre scene at the end like
See,
that?
so how I would fix that is by incorporating the psychiatrist slowly killing and experimenting, showing these women being experimented on, and the let's say, how the employee was like, I'm not going to let you go, I'm going to be here or whatever at the end. It would have been interesting for the women continuously telling her he's torturing us, and then him saying, oh no, she's crazy, and her believing the psychiatrist like they're crazy, they're hallucinating this whole concept, right? And then discovering that he has been experimenting on these women, where he did kill them, like killed 3 women. Obviously, there was one in the dungeon.
And that's where you can derive the horror of the movie from.
Exactly. And continue that acts, the whole concept of this idea and him doing this stuff. That's how I would fix that.
Yeah, I think we are totally on board with how to change the structure, and it's a shame to say just cut this whole first act. And
I wouldn't. I like this.
you would, all right, you would.
I would
Well,
keep
I don't
this.
think you have enough time then. Without cutting this, I don't think you have enough time to then have this long.
Easy. Rather than seeing the fish tank and seeing her learn how to walk, and them just sitting around in the support group, and all that other stuff in between, the whole middle of it, completely make that different, incorporating the whole, rather than them having a support group. There's a scene of this guy experimenting on one of the girls, and then
Or maybe, how about in those scenes, they're seeing him, because they're crazy and hallucinating, they're seeing him as, various monsters, like a lizard monster or an alien, and she's thinking she's being abducted by aliens, and you have those, I don't know, maybe that could work,
right.
because this does try to go the fantasy route.
Right. And it's kind of like Sucker Punch. Sucker Punch did that, where they kept going into a different, there's the war, all these different scenes. So in the support group scene, you could have each woman as they're talking and going around to each other, rather than having her sign language. That whole concept and the shower scene, like her wanting to go into the shower, was these women all briefly talking about their experience, like, I have these dreams, and it's like a monster of some sort experimenting on them, so on and so forth.
And then when you have the reveal, it does a supercut of all of those scenes where it's the alien probing her and the monster attacking her, but then it cuts and it's him doing those things. And then the audience goes, he was the monster all along.
Right. And I would also incorporate it when the woman, the employee, goes into the boat and opens the book where we saw the ghost girl being experimented on. She's actually taking that time to read those concepts, and then it's showing the audience the big reveal. Like, this guy is the has been experimenting on all these women and is now experimenting on this mermaid, which I think would
I think you don't even have her be a mermaid, honestly.
Right.
I think that you have the mermaid part be be her being crazy, because I feel like that had nothing to do with this movie. We like the mermaid part's the least interesting part. Like, for one, how about the decision to include a ghost in the movie?
I know. You're so right, because like we had a ghost. We were more we were learning more about this ghost journey, which didn't even tell us anything. So
And they even find her body at the end,
Right.
and there's no, like, nothing's even said.
But-
No one's all like, oh, it's such and such's body.
Right.
This is what happened to her.
but nothing like
She's free now.
Exactly, and she was in this movie so much. She was in that. The ghost was in this movie more than the mermaid herself. Like the mermaid.
The
was-
mermaid didn't even speak.
Yeah, the mermaid was just was experiencing with the ghost girl, and the ghost girl was obsessed with the mermaid. That's the whole reason why she was even in it. So yes, I agree with you. Just completely cut the idea of her being a mermaid, and just make her this crazy woman who thinks is a mermaid, and that's why she's in the psych ward. She's like, I'm a mermaid, and
Then you have time.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you don't have to deal with any of that bullshit at the beginning, even though those were great scenes,
Right.
filmmaking-wise and writing-wise. But you can have the whole arc be the, all right,
The
we're
psych
now being
ward.
taken to the psych ward. We learn about, okay, the psych ward, there's some bad things that happen here. Okay, these women actively want to get out of the psych ward. Okay, at the end, we escape the psych ward. And at the end, we realize that this guy is not just like a doctor who's an authoritarian, but he's literally sadistic and evil. And that's how you would pace that
and then
all.
we realize that the woman who was saying she's a mermaid is an actual fucking mermaid.
I mean, maybe. Or not.
Or not, right? Yeah. That would be really interesting. That's like a whole different movie, though. Completely different movie.
Yeah. We want a whole different movie here.
What would you rate this movie?
You know, gosh, I did kind of, you know what? The reason I like this movie is because it's so competently shot and filmed.
Right, and I
think.
like the concept. I like the idea. Overall, over its flaws, over its confusion.
I'm still gonna say it's oily, though.
Yeah, over its confusion, over, like, I hated that there was this ghost incorporated. I would completely remove this ghost lady. I get why she's there. It's because he killed her and tortured her, and she was a victim, but she really didn't do much. She really didn't help that much.
All she did was hand him some fish hooks that didn't kill him twice.
Yeah, so, like, why... Like, I guess that's why I hate this movie, is because of this ghost. They were too focused on this ghost. I don't know why. I cared more for the mermaid. I was here to see a mermaid movie. I did get a mermaid movie, but I got this stupid ghost, and I just didn't want all that concept. I would rate this oily. How much? I did like the writing. I did like how it was filmed. Sound was alright. Special effects was okay. Like when the hooks... One flaw I didn't like too much was when the hooks were on his face.
Those looked
Terrible a little
This
bit.
right here, where she's obviously like dangling the hooks like behind his head,
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that was okay. The idea was wonderful. Just after when you
Like,
see his
yeah,
face.
having a bunch of fish hooks ripping your throat out,
Yeah.
like that would be...
See, that looked
That could have
good.
been an absolutely brutal fucking
right here it
crazy
looks
scene. And then he
bad.
like comes back to life twice more.
Right. Like, the ghost woman, like, who cares? Like, why do you have her there? But I get it. Like, there was a crazy woman who has an imaginary friend. I see that. I get that.
See, I almost thought that was brilliant,
Mm-hmm.
that her imaginary friend turned out to be an actual ghost that only she could see.
Yeah.
And that's why I would have just shifted the whole... I don't know. This movie's kind of a mess. I get we've thrown a lot at the wall, spitballing ideas on how we can fix this. The story, really, it feels like the story is so ambitious, and with there being like 5 or 7 different women, and then you had the orderlies. You had a lot of characters in this movie. You needed like a book to flesh it all out.
Problem with this movie is that it was trying to tell so many stories in one. I think that's really what it is. They couldn't.
Bullied girl here never had an arc because she was a bully from the beginning and all the way up until the end.
Yeah, and I think, oh man, this one is a mess. It's a mess. I like the idea though. That's the thing. I like the concept. I like the creativity. It's creative. It is overall I did have an okay time watching this movie because I liked the idea. The way it was written was not bad. Film was not bad. I don't know. It was still kind of.
I'm gonna give this. I want to say 2, but maybe 3 WarBux. I'm not even going into oily because this movie. I didn't hate watching it.
Yeah.
A lot of shit didn't make any sense, but I think the filmmaking itself saves it.
I like the idea so much, and I agree with you because I like the concept so much, and it is a retelling of The Little Mermaid in its own creative, fun way, and I did have fun watching this film. I will give it 1 bubblegum, yeah. This one had a good act, it had a good second act, it had a good third act. It was just a mess. It couldn't decide what it wanted to focus on, I believe.
I think a better budget could have saved this movie too, especially insofar as the asylum scenes go.
Maybe if they made this 30 minutes longer, it might have saved it a little more because I think I mean, I think it needed to incorporate the women more, which is why it's so confusing because all these women died and we had no idea who or what or any of that. That's really the issue with this movie is the women in the psych ward.
Yeah, so I think we have a pretty good solution to this. We keep sort of falling back on that same idea, I feel like, over and over again. And you know what? I think the women in the psych ward were the strongest part of this movie. They were all kind of interesting. We had, Helmet Girl and 5-year-old girl, and even 5-year-old girl had her arc where she got to be reunited with her twin who had died. So kind of good for her. I
did like these guys, the employees. They were fun. I did like the murderer. It was interesting. Did like her. Yeah, I do like this. I think I like this movie, but I don't know yet. I have to rewatch it, but it's good. It is better than I thought for sure. I'm happy. I knew that this movie was going to be good.
At the end of the day, you know what? I'm glad I watched this. This is the kind of stuff I hope to find when I watch oily trash movies. There's a lot of things to bag on it for, which I like, but the movie was still enough that it was entertaining to watch. So I'm satisfied. I don't have anything more to add about.
You know what I just noticed? I didn't even criticize the acting at all. And these are no-name actors. Every single one of them. There's only like they have stuff. They're actors. They have work. They do stuff. But not big stuff. They're all indie, independent, small production, and they're all really good. Not one actor stood out to me being terrible. I did like her murder, ballerina. That was fun.
Yeah, that was pretty good. Or it was fun how she stood up and did her ballerina thing.
Yeah.
Which I don't remember there being somebody dressed as a ballerina.
Yeah. This one was
movie.
good. The death was brutal.
I did call that gun was going to be used, obviously.
Obviously. But it's interesting that we never got to see those employees because it's only these 2 employees. And those other employees are the ones who bring their guns because their wives don't let them have guns in the house. And the the strong muscle guy was like fucking weird. So it's like, why would you? Well, I guess he just killed the one woman.
All right, well, this has been Mermaid Down
Would you recommend this
on
movie?
episode. You know what? I would.
Yeah.
I would recommend this probably more than most of the movies we've seen.
I would recommend this. This was a really interesting concept of a story that has been told 1,000 times. And I like it. It's confusing. There's a lot of... And who the heck is that nurse lady?
She broke that woman's neck,
Yeah.
and we never heard from her
And
again.
she was new, and we never heard from her again. I guess it was just the movie saying, hey, this is like trying to tell us this is an official. Like, yes, it's a house, but it's an official psych ward, you know?
We never saw the ghost girl unclip these belts. That's what we needed.
Yeah.
She would have contributed to the plot, and then she does flip out and spit that oil out everywhere. That would have made sense.
Yeah, and see, that's the thing. Ghost Girl really wasn't much help. Like, I guess that's what really bugged me. Like, she was around a lot in this movie. She was involved a lot. She was seeing everything. She was telling her friend who sees her. Yet she didn't... Like, what was the point of having her if she didn't do much? Like, okay, she was around. Like, if she was just around in the background, no, and then there was the main focus on the woman who sees her and talks about her, I think that would be highly more interesting. Like, she's just like, everybody's like, how do you know that he's torturing her in there or something? It's like, well, Tiffany told me.
I think what we needed was just a rewrite.
Yeah,
This
a little
script
bit of cleanup.
is capable, but it just needed a small rewrite.
Yeah. It was good, though, overall. I would like to see more movies of this director who's also a co-writer in this concept. I would like to see more movies, and he's done a lot.
Yeah, we'll check him out.
Yeah, he's done a lot. So Jeffrey, I can't say his last name.
All right, I'm done with this. It's 2:30 a.m.
Yeah, take care, comb your hair.
Thank you. Like and subscribe. And remember to mace directly in the face. Bye.